You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts.
All right, Black and White Sports supporters. Well, let's talk about a little television action. We got ratings for that Eagles-Chiefs game, and they were massive. In fact, it was an all-timer for the ratings on that game through the first 2 weeks of any NFL season, highest rated game ever. And we have a statement from Amazon. And I'm going to tell you, I hate everything about this statement. I don't want this to happen. I believe that the Super Bowl should always be on free over-the-air antenna television. In other words, if you own an antenna and you don't have any cable, no dish, no streaming, none of that. If you're living in a cabin in the woods, all you've got is a pair of rabbit ears that will actually reach your local stations. You should be able to consume the world's biggest event, certainly the United States' biggest event, every year for free. That's the way it's always been. I believe it's the one thing that should be off limits. Now, there's always been rumors that the Super Bowl might eventually become pay-per-view. I got to tell you, putting the Super Bowl on streaming or heading it down the road towards pay-per-view, if the NFL wants to hit a fracture point that, say, Major League Baseball hit at some point, that might be the way to do it. People have always wondered what is actually going to wound the NFL and hurt the NFL, because it's a ratings juggernaut, as we're going to look at in a minute. People forget Major League Baseball was at one time the largest rated sports event that there was. Major League Baseball ruled. In the 80s, into the 90s, Major League Baseball was it. It was the jam. And slowly but surely, the NFL became the juggernaut. You get into too much of this streaming and things like that, it's eventually going to fracture people. So as the NFL pushes more games to streaming, one big question lingers. Will the biggest game of them all ever migrate from broadcast TV? Question mark. Amazon hopes it will. Via Sean Keeley of AwfulAnnouncing.com, Prime Video CEO Jay Marine said during Tuesday's tune-in event from Front Office Sports that Amazon wants to host the Super Bowl. Quote, "If I have my way, yes," Marine told Michael McCarthy of Front Office Sports. "Absolutely, that would be our ambition in the fullness of time. I'll just say I'm optimistic." That's not good. That's not good. And this will be as simple as, can they come up with a number for the NFL to buy the Super Bowl? All right, that's what all of this is about. For example, Peacock paid $100 for $100 million for an exclusive streaming game. And then Netflix paid, I don't know how much for their Christmas games. A bunch. If they can come up with a number that they believe will beat whatever it is that a broadcast TV entity would pay, that might get it done. And I think it's a bad idea. I don't care what that number is. There's also a world, and I heard this the other day, where Amazon, YouTube TV, especially after and look, we found out that experiment didn't go well. Those YouTube TV ratings freaking sucked. They were not good ratings at all, and broadcast television higher-ups, I mean, it's been one of the biggest stories has been them making fun of YouTube TV and what the ratings were. They were trash. Now, I don't know if that's a product of being on Friday night or what, but they weren't great. And there's been some talk of YouTube TV and Amazon buying every NFL game there is, because Netflix, YouTube TV, aka Google, Amazon, they got more money than Fox. They got more money than CBS. Time is the key word. If the NFL were to put the Super Bowl on streaming in the foreseeable future, Congress would quickly target the league's broadcast antitrust exemption. If, however, the Sports Broadcasting Act of 1961 eventually revised to either eliminate or expand exemption, that issue evaporates. There's a effort right now to amend the Sports Broadcasting Act of 1961. I've seen multiple commercials in the last 2 weeks on it because it would help college sports outside of football. I mean, college football is already killing it. All right, there's a story right here on the right side of my screen, and I don't think you can see it. Maybe you can see it a little bit, but Tennessee and Georgia on ABC drew 12.6 million viewers. So that leads us back over to this. The Eagles and Chiefs Super Bowl rematch set early NFL TV ratings mark. It wasn't a Super Bowl type audience for Sunday's high-profile Eagles-Chiefs game, but the Super Bowl rematch on Fox nonetheless posted by far the largest audience of the young 2025 season. The network said late Tuesday that it averaged 33.8 million viewers for the Eagles and Chiefs matchup, easily setting a new standard for the most watched game through the first 2 weeks of the season and representing the most watched Week 2 NFL game in league history. So the largest Week 2 game ever. That figure also surpassed the 28.3 million viewers who tuned in September 4th for NBC's league kickoff game between the Cowboys and Eagles. With nearly all of the NFL games this season, the robust totals owes in part Nielsen's new big data plus panel audience measurement process. And then it goes down here to talk about the fact that, once again, Fox Sports making fun of YouTube TV's audience that they pulled in for that game. So that Chiefs-Eagles game, for people that say that they've got fatigue already for the Eagles and Chiefs, it doesn't show up in the television ratings at all. 33.8 million. Jesus. Largest Week 2 audience in the history of the NFL. But again, like I said a minute ago, there was a time when Major League Baseball ruled the ratings world in sports. Boxing was massive in sports, the ratings on boxing. So the bubble can burst at some point if they go too far. And look, there's a pretty sizable segment of people out there that have begun rejecting everything but antenna. And I don't know if they've noticed that, if these sports leagues don't believe there's enough of those people, but there is a movement of people that are like, you know what? I'm not paying for a damn thing anymore. Streaming was supposed to make my television bill cheaper than cable, cheaper than satellite. And I can tell you right now, I'm paying about $70 more a month than I was with Dish because of streaming and shit. It didn't help me a bit. It helped when it first happened, when Sling first came out, I switched over, and it helped me for about 8 or 9 years. It was about $50 a month cheaper. But then when they started separating all these games out, moving them around, and it's like, fuck, I got to have Netflix, I got to have Amazon Prime, I got to have blah, blah, blah. I mean, Disney Plus. I mean, you just, whatever. I look up now, and I think I'm paying $180 a month for television. And I left Dish Network because it was $90. Yeah, it's been a long time ago, but you get my point. Wow. And yeah, I know plenty of people that don't have Amazon Prime. I know that sounds crazy, or they've got it, but they don't have it installed. They don't watch it on their TVs and all that. It's for like shopping. Tell me what you think. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.